Ever feel like applying for marketing jobs is like just throwing your resume into a void? Like you never even hear back.
Oh, tell me about it. It can be so disheartening, especially when you're just starting out.
Right. So today we're tackling that first big hurdle,
Yeah.
landing that marketing assistant gig. And to help us navigate this sometimes confusing world, we've got some insights from RoleCatcher's career resources.
Which is a lot more than just another job board, by the way.
Exactly. And, we always try to go beyond those like typical surface level descriptions, right? We're going to break down what this role actually involves day to day.
And more importantly, I think, how to make your application stand out. Because
Right.
that's the real battle, isn't it?
Totally. So I was diving into RoleCatcher's career guide, and one thing that jumped out was their definition of a marketing assistant. They call it a vital team member who essentially keeps the whole marketing department running smoothly.
Which, okay, at first glance might sound kind of vague, right?
Yeah. Yeah, a little. But then they hit you with this. Requires a blend of creativity, ANEA, analytical thinking. Now we're talking.
That's what caught my eye, too. You're not just like fetching coffee or making copies. You need to be able to think strategically.
It's that perfect mix of left brain, right brain stuff.
Totally. And it reminded me of actually when I first started out, I was thrown into analyzing competitor data for a new product launch. Not what I expected, but so interesting. There you go. So it's definitely not all about, just being creative. The RoleCatcher Guide also stresses the importance of preparing reports, especially for finance.
You're the bridge between the creative vision and those all-important
I
numbers.
got to speak their language, right?
Yeah.
And speaking of things that are constantly changing, what about the impact of technology? This isn't your grandma's marketing department anymore.
Right. The guide actually mentions technology advances
Mhm.
specifically. Think social media campaigns, website analytics, all that good stuff.
So being adaptable is key here,
Yeah.
which makes sense because things move so fast in the digital world. It's constantly evolving, which honestly is what keeps it exciting. So, okay, we've established that being a marketing assistant is way more dynamic than people might think. But where does this role fit into the bigger picture?
Right, because nobody wants to be an assistant forever.
And that's something else RoleCatcher does really well. They lay out a clear career path. You
You
start as
do.
an assistant, move up to coordinator, then specialist, manager, and eventually senior marketing manager.
Okay, now that has a nice ring to it. Senior marketing manager. But I'm curious, how do the responsibilities actually change as you climb that ladder?
That's the exciting part. It's not just a title change. You're constantly gaining new skills and taking on more responsibility. Like, as a marketing specialist, you're not just executing tasks. You're developing strategies, leading projects.
And by the time you reach that manager level, you're overseeing budgets, managing teams, making those big picture decisions that affect the whole department.
It's a great example of how starting as a marketing assistant can really set you up for a rewarding, impactful career. But, of course, first, you have to actually land that initial job.
Which, let's be honest, it can feel pretty impossible sometimes, especially with like thousands of applicants all vying for the same positions.
And those dreaded applicant tracking systems. Don't even get me started.
I swear, it's like they were designed to weed out even the most qualified candidates.
It can feel so impersonal. Right.
Totally. And that's where I think RoleCatcher goes from being a helpful guide to a powerful tool in your job search.
Yeah,
Because you need an edge in this competitive market.
100%.
So spill the tea. Tell me, how does RoleCatcher help me stand out from the crowd and avoid getting lost in that black hole of online applications?
Well, for starters, there's their RoleCatcher.capture feature. Imagine this.
RoleCatcher, not capture. Okay, that
Yeah.
sounds kind of catchy. And I'm all about anything that makes this whole job hunting process like a little less painful.
Oh, trust me, this will. So picture this. You're scrolling through like a million job postings on Indeed, LinkedIn, wherever.
The usual black hole.
Exactly. And you see a marketing assistant role that catches your eye.
Okay.
Now, instead of going down that rabbit hole of opening tons of tabs or trying to remember to bookmark it later,
Which, let's be honest, I'll totally forget to do.
right, you just hit this button, this RoleCatcher.capture button, and boom, save directly to your RoleCatcher dashboard.
So it's kind of like, what is it, those save for later buttons when you're online shopping, but for your, like, dream job.
Exactly. Keeps everything organized, and more importantly, it lets you focus on the important stuff, actually applying, putting your best foot forward.
Speaking of putting your best foot forward, we were talking about how crucial it is to tailor your resume for each job.
Oh, absolutely. None of that generic stuff. Nobody's got time for that.
But seriously, sometimes deciphering those job descriptions feels like a whole other job in itself.
Tell me about it. So that's where RoleCatcher's job spec analysis comes in. It takes all the guesswork out of it.
Okay, now I'm intrigued.
It analyzes the entire job description,
Uh-huh.
picks out those keywords, those specific skills they're looking for.
So, like, instead of just assuming I know what they want, RoleCatcher gives me the inside scoop.
Think of it as your secret weapon to getting past those applicant tracking systems and catching the eye of the actual hiring manager. Two birds, one stone.
I like the sound of that. But speaking of resumes, does RoleCatcher help with actually, like, writing the darn thing? Because that's my least favorite part.
Oh, absolutely. They have this CV resume builder and scoring feature, and it's amazing.
Wait, hold on, scoring? You mean it tells me if my resume is actually any good?
Yep. But first, it helps you build it. We're talking like minutes to create a professional-looking resume. No more agonizing over formatting for hours.
Okay, see, now that's what I'm talking about. Time saver.
Right. But then, get this, it scores your resume based on the job description you're targeting.
Hold up. So it's like having a personal resume consultant in my back pocket telling me what works and what doesn't.
You got it. But it doesn't stop there. What about the interview?
Oh boy, the interview. Don't get me started.
You and everyone else. Interview anxiety is real, but RoleCatcher has this interview prep feature, and it's seriously like having a secret weapon.
Okay, you had me at secret weapon. Lay it on me.
So are you ready for this? Imagine having access to a database of over 120,000 interview questions.
120,000? Is this even legal?
Totally. And they're not just random questions. They're tailored to specific industries, specific roles.
Okay, so like actual marketing assistant questions, not just the generic tell me about yourself stuff.
Exactly. You can practice your answers, get feedback, and even use their AI tool to analyze your delivery and body language.
Whoa, okay, that's next level. It's like having your own personal interview coach, but like way more affordable.
Right. But even with all these amazing tools and resources,
You still got to bring your A game, right? Like a RoleCatcher can open those doors, but it's
Yeah.
up to you to actually like wow them.
100%. It's like they can help you get your foot in the door, but your personality, your passion, that's what really makes you memorable.
Because at the end of the day, a recruiter can spot a generic resume from a mile away.
Oh, totally. And remember those example profiles we talked about
Yeah.
from RoleCatcher? Each person, they had their own thing, something that made them stand out.
Right. It wasn't just like, I'm proficient in Microsoft Office, so it's more about showcasing those unique strengths.
For sure.
Yeah.
Maybe you're amazing at social media, like you just know how to make content go viral. Or maybe you're a data whiz, someone who can find those hidden insights in a spreadsheet.
It's about like owning what makes you different.
Exactly. And that ties into something else. RoleCatcher mentioned those so-called soft skills.
Oh yeah, those are huge now.
Huge.
Yeah.
Because those are the things you can't really teach, right? Communication, teamwork, problem solving.
And it's often what sets people apart, especially when everyone's resume starts to look the same.
It shows you're not just a robot, you know? You're someone who can bring something valuable to the team.
This has been like eye-opening. We went from feeling totally lost in the job search abyss to, well, maybe not experts, but definitely more prepared.
I think RoleCatcher gives you the tools and the confidence to actually navigate this whole process.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So, as we wrap things up here, think about this. RoleCatcher can help you unlock those doors, but what are you going to bring into the room once you're there? What makes you stand out? Figure that out and go get them. And until next time on The Deep Dive, happy job hunting, everyone.